Earth was visited in the distant past by extraterrestrial beings. This is what some ancient texts suggest. Not only ancient Egypt, ancient India, ancient China, Latin America, even the Anu of the Native American Indians, also the ancient Greeks. These ancient texts all describe similar stories. They were beings possibly misinterpreted as quote-unquote gods who came from the heavens and ruled over the planet for thousands of years. The Olympian gods of ancient Greeks were supposedly extraterrestrial Atlanteans. Now, is it possible that these quote-unquote beings, misunderstood as gods, came to Earth in the distant past and ruled over the planet Earth for thousands of years? If intelligent extraterrestrial civilizations did visit our planet in the distant past, would we find evidence of their visitation somewhere on Earth today? Well, according to these three ancient texts, the most searched for pieces of evidence are in front of us right now and have been here all along, ever since ancient mankind recorded what they had seen thousands of years ago. So we only know this from the records. If we have no records, of course, we don't know what they experienced. Now, even though mainstream scholars firmly reject this idea, millions of people today firmly believe mankind has been visited by beings not from Earth in the distant past. According to some accounts, these beings, who are referred to as quote-unquote gods, intervened in numerous ways in the evolution and development of civilization as we know it. And interestingly, there are numerous ancient texts that seem to back up this controversial but yet popular theory. The Sumerian king list, the royal canon of Turin, and the Palermo stone are some extremely important ancient texts that describe a time in history when beings referred to as gods ruled over our planet. The Sumerian king list, these kings lived for tens of thousands of years. They had tremendous longevity. The Sumerian king list, 2119 BC, said, "The flood swept over the land. After the flood had swept over the land, and kingship had descended from heaven for a second time, Kish," that is Cush, "became the seat of kingship." Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. These are one of the artifacts found in South America. As you can see, there's someone sitting in a seat that looks like what we would say today a part of a capsule of a rocket. He's also seen wearing a helmet. Now, the ancient Sumerian king list, this list is one of the most interesting ancient texts ever found on our planet. It details with very great accuracy the rulers of the ancient Sumerian civilization. There are more than a dozen of copies of Sumerian king lists found in Babylon, Susa, and Assyria, and also the Royal Library of Nineveh from the 7th century BC. All of these are believed to originate from one original list, believed to have been written during the 3rd dynasty of Ur, or even earlier. Ur was a city where Abraham was born. He moved from there to the promised land of Canaan. But the best preserved Sumerian king list is called the Weld Blundell prism, which is a clay cuneiform inscribed vertical prism housed in the Ashmolean Museum. It was written on its comprehensive list of all Sumerian kings before the flood and after the Great Flood. And interestingly, it describes kings who ruled over Earth and then lived for tens of thousands of years. From the Sumerian king list we read, "After the kingship descended from heaven, the kingship was in Eridu. In Eridu, Alulim became king. He ruled for 28,800 years. Aliljar ruled for 36,000 years. 2 kings, they ruled for 64,800 years. Can you imagine? This ancient document describes a time on Earth when unknown beings lived for tens of thousands of years and ruled over the ancient cities of this region. researchers have not been able to explain why the unique list blends mythical pre-dynastic rulers with historical rulers who were known to have existed and as such have mixed feelings when it comes to the interpretation of this ancient Sumerian king list. Scholars today only partially accepted the Sumerian king list, suggesting that the lengthy, implausible reigns described within the Sumerian king list are nothing more than mythology. Well, if it's mythology, why were they so accurate in accounting for the years exactly? Now, the Turin royal canon, or the Turin king list on parchment. But if aliens, quote unquote, misinterpreted as gods, did in fact rule on Earth for thousands of years, wouldn't there be evidence of existence in different cultures? Well, there is. The ancient Sumerian king list is not the only ancient text that describes how gods, quote unquote, ruled over planet Earth. The Turin royal canon is another crucial ancient text that describes the longevous reigns of the gods, quote unquote. The Turin papyrus, referred to by many as the Turin royal canon, is an ancient text written in hieratic language, that's a cursive form of Egyptian hieroglyphs, used especially by the priests. Scholars believe that the original papyrus was a list that included over 300 names, and it detailed precisely the years, months, and dates of each reign of the kings that ruled over the lands of ancient Egypt. Interestingly, the part that resembles the Sumerian king list with great accuracy are the final two lines of the column, which seem to represent a resume of the entire document, are extremely interesting and reminds us of the Sumerian king list, as this is what they read. Venerables Shamsu-Hor, 13,420 years. Raised before the Shamsu-Hor, 23,200 years. Total 36,620 years. The Papyrus of Turin clearly indicates the existence of 9 dynasties that correspond to the pre-dynastic pharaohs, and upon them are the venerables of Memphis, the venerables of the north, and lastly Shamsu-Hor, the companions or followers of Horus, who ruled until the time of Menes, the first mortal pharaoh of ancient Egypt. And then we have the Palermo stone. Also known as the Royal Annals, the Palermo stone is considered by many as the world's oldest historic books, and this ancient stone is the most important source of the study of ancient Egyptian history. While the exact date of its creation is still a mystery, it's believed to have been created sometime in the 5th dynasty, just as the ancient Sumerian king list and the royal Turin canon do. The Palermo stone lists the mythical pre-dynastic kings of Egypt, followed by the pharaohs of the first 5 dynasties. The Palermo stone is only half a huge slab of black diorite, which initially is believed to have measured about 2 meters in height, that's about 7 feet tall, and around 60 centimeters in height. It is, I would say width there. It is currently displayed at the Museum of Palermo in Italy, and the document in hieroglyphic writing accounts for 120 pre-dynastic kings who reigned before the ancient Egyptians officially existed as a civilization. Interestingly, the names of the mysterious gods and demigods, quote-unquote, appear in the Egyptian royal genealogies as well. So they are, in these quote-unquote gods, extraterrestrials or Atlanteans, were also appearing in the Egyptian royal genealogies as well. So they can't be mythical. So as you can see, there are several ancient texts that describe with great accuracy a time when beings, possibly misunderstood as gods, came down from the heavens and ruled over mankind. Moreover, similar accounts of gods that came down from the heavens can be found in numerous ancient cultures all across our planet. Now, for some reason, mainstream scholars and researchers have decided to ignore these ancient texts and have put forward their own chronology of ancient Egypt history and that of other great Asian civilizations. This is Unbended Reality. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.